Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Is the Perth Mint running out of silver? Let's explore! That is the question. You know, it's been exciting to see this silver squeeze that we've been talking about for a while now. It has certainly drained a lot of products and many different bullion dealers' websites out there for sure. And also, to many people's disappointment, higher premiums that we're paying for silver as well. Some say, well, that's a good thing because that means that, hey, the squeeze is on. And in that respect, it certainly is for sure. But is there an actual shortage of silver at the Perth Mint? You know, the Perth Mint kind of made some news, and there's been some talk about it to the point now where the Perth Mint has released a statement on this. And I think it's quite interesting, and I'm glad they did it. But it kind of gives us a little bit of perspective as to exactly what's going on here, especially after one of the largest, mints and dealers really out there as far as delivering silver product out there. So this is a blog post from March 17th. It says, social media chatter about a shortage of silver should be treated with a healthy dose of skepticism. While the Perth Mint is currently experiencing increased demand for its products and services, and they're not alone in that, customers can still invest in leading Australian silver bullion coins and in a pool allocated for unallocated silver via their depository. Unlike gold, unallocated silver remains fully backed by physical metal at the mint. And I think that's an important distinction here. The current scenario in which some Perth Mint physical products are temporarily unavailable does not equate to a shortage of metal at the Perth Mint or in world wholesale markets. And that is the key here. And that's something that I've been talking about for quite some time. When people talk about shortages, it just means that there is a bottleneck in supply. In other words, the demand is so rich and so fast approaching for some of these products that they can't produce it fast enough. But that does not equate and should not be conflated with a shortage of actual silver. What it actually reflects are constraints in production capacity here and in other mints around the world to fabricate enough silver as finished bullion product. To alleviate this situation for their clients, the Perth Mint have streamlined the number of bullion ranges we usually produce. And we've seen that. In fact, that's one reason why you're seeing less copper bullion out there, because some of these mints that produce silver products, especially companion copper bullion pieces, that's why you don't see as much of that out there, because they have to focus. And so that frees the capacity to fully focus on their two most popular lines, 1 ounce Australian Kangaroo Gold and 1 ounce Australian Kangaroo Silver bullion coins. The coins are available for sale from the Mint's bullion website, on our on-site retail store, and leading distributors. As one of the largest refiners of gold and silver, the Perth Mint is ideally placed to service investors looking to acquire precious metals, as we have a steady stream of coming into our refinery on a daily basis. So, though the squeeze is great and it's good that people are buying this stuff, they will make more. They will refine more, and they will eventually stamp out more products. As a byproduct of other metals, you are going to see silver being utilized and being produced and coming in at a steady stream. Now, will it be enough to meet demand over the long course? It depends on how long the squeeze lasts, so to speak, or how much demand. There's many different factors that will equate to that in terms of that demand and what's going to happen down the road with silver. Number one, I think, is the economy, where the economy is going to go, one way or the other. And of course, all the quantitative easing and printing, people are going to probably be increasing their holdings of precious metals, and that includes silver. Depository clients can also acquire silver via services offered through their depository at the Perth Mint, including a depository program account, depository online, and Gold Pass. They remain committed to delivering allocated products as quickly as possible and are in the process of improving the conversion of unallocated to allocated amid current production constraints. Accredited by all 5 of the world's major global gold exchanges, Perth Mint is the only precious metal operation in the world which has a unique government guarantee and is dedicated to providing ethically sourced gold and silver. So there that is. Now, part of the squeeze, and looking at this from a nuanced point of view, is that they are wanting to try to affect the market so much that they go into these unallocated deposits. These are huge bars. These are contract 1,000-ounce bars. If they can get into that inventory for the bullion products, then they're really making headway before they replace these bars. And that is something that's going to take in a continued guerrilla warfare, to use that term that has been used for apes in the silver squeeze and Wall Street silver. And that'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. But nonetheless, that brings us to a posting on Wall Street Silver. And this is from our very own Carl Ushanka, who, as you know, or if you've been a fan of this channel for a long time, I actually reviewed one of his books. He's got 2 books out there about how to trade the silver ratio, trade the gold to silver ratio in a very streamlined and a way to be able to actually make money on that. It's a pretty interesting book and a very interesting read. But nonetheless, he is quite aware of the precious metals markets, and I look at him like myself as a realist in these markets, and really questions the conventional wisdom among this community, which in a way, in a sense, is an alternative point of view from the mainstream media. But on the same token, there are some different factions and different viewpoints. And this post, which has gained some popularity on this forum, I think is quite interesting indeed. He says there's a lot of posts on the Wall Street Silver talking about Perth Mint not meeting demand. And this is called a retail shortage. They did not mint the quantities of retail silver that, thanks to Wall Street Silver, spiked in demand. And others are concluding that this means there's a shortage of silver, but that's incorrect information. And he links to that posting that I just went over. So then he talks about the 3 different areas here of what this increased demand means. The goal is to squeeze the shorts is noble and possible, and I agree with that. I think it is possible, but it's continued and sustained. And I think one of the ways to do it is PSLV, by the way, because that's the closest electronic form to physical, but also just keep buying the physical. The higher demand is helping, but there are 3 levels of silver inventory, and we are only on step 1. And although one can make an argument that we could possibly be in step 2 or getting very close to it, that is to empty retail silver. This is why we're seeing these high premiums. But the second one is to empty the vaults by taking delivery on futures contracts, and buying PSLV, which he says that he is doing, and buying retail when available. This is the real squeeze. And then the third one is to empty the miners' inventories, where it gets right back to the miners. As soon as it comes out, whatever they have in storage, that stuff is sold out, and that's going to be much more difficult to do because they're holding it back as hedge. A lot of the stuff in futures trading and the like, and what bullion dealers do is they hedge against the price, and that's part of where the shorting is, and how these big 8 banks from the CFTC, the monitoring there from these big banks for the what we refer to as these reports that come from the COMEX and the like. They're saying, well, they're all shorting silver. But anyways, so Carl Ushanka in this post, like myself, wants to keep an open mind about this. So if there's anything that's contradictory, love to see it, and I would as well too. I read through some of these responses, and it's quite interesting to see what some of the folks are saying. Now the Wall Street Silver community has grown to now over 43,500 silverbacks now, which is great. To see the increase, which means obviously anything that gets larger, you are going to see different ideas and different viewpoints come into play. And so I think it's great to see those ideas bounce off each other. But the short answer to the question, is the Perth Mint running out of silver? No. Now the other thing is well, are they lying to us? Well, I guess in theory they technically could be lying, but I kind of doubt that's the case. And I believe that it would not be in their best interest, especially knowing that that's in their business to sell precious metals. And in fact, I think in some ways that they may feel at pressure, they might get more businesses to say, well, we're running out or whatever, to kind of hype it up or whatever. But nonetheless, that should not discourage people from buying or their view on precious metals, because I think most serious analysts believe that even this year that is probably going to go up. Silver is probably going to go up at some level. I think that it could go up over $30 again. I posted a video earlier in the year, and I stand by that, even with prices kind of moving back a little bit. But I do feel like that we're going to see prices ebb and flow a bit, but also by the end of the year go up over $30 an ounce. So I think most people are bullish on silver, at least in that regard. I'm not saying, I'm not one of those that think it's going to go to $50 anytime soon or $100. But nonetheless, very interesting indeed, and we'll see how it all plays out. But there is no silver shortage at the Perth Mint. Let me know your thoughts below, and thanks again to Carl Ushanka sharing this post with me, his post there on the Reddit forum Wall Street Silver. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.